I'm Richard Redmond. Tonight's play is about a subject near and dear to everyone's hearts. Sooner or later, we all have to come face to face with it. Taxes. In life, two things are certain: death and taxes. But death doesn't get any worse. In our story tonight, titled Assessment Day, watch as Thomas Who, spelt with two O's, pays a visit to his local tax assessor concerning his recent tax assessment. Watch as Thomas sarcastically turns the tables on the assessor. Well, we'll see about this.
Good afternoon, Assessor's Office. I'm sorry, you'll have to speak with the assessor about your assessment. I'm just his secretary. No, he can't come to the phone right now. He is very, very busy. I said I can't help you. Look, I got a line here going out the door. I have to go. Good day.
Excuse me.
Can't you see I'm busy?
I said excuse me.
Oh, at this rate, I will never get my work finished. Can I help you?
I'm sorry to tear you away from such important work, but I would like to see the tax assessor.
There's no need to get sarcastic. Besides, the assessor is very, very busy.
Well, it shouldn't take long, and since I'm already here.
Oh, may I have your name and the nature of your business?
My name is Thomas Who, with two O's, and I'm here about my tax assessment. I'm comparing it to my neighbor's. His name is Watt. with 2 T's.
Did you call and make an appointment?
No.
Well, the assessor doesn't usually like to see people concerning their assessment. It ruins his day.
Well, Mrs.
Uppish, with 2 P's.
I promise I won't ruin his day. And since I made the trip here, come on. Couldn't you be a sweetheart and let me see him?
Oh, well, if you're going to get nasty about it, fine. Go right in.
Which way?
Down the corridor, 3rd door on the left.
Thank you.
His name is on the door. Dumb blonde.
Excuse me. Are you the assessor?
Must be. That's what it says on the door.
I'd like to talk to you.
I'm thrilled. Can't you see I'm busy?
It seems to be going around. Oh, is that the latest town budget you're studying?
I guess I'll never finish this book if you keep interrupting.
So you're reading Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes, great story.
So you like Robin Hood, huh? Rob from the rich and give to the poor?
Actually, I like the Sheriff of Nottingham. You know, squeeze the taxpayer till it hurts.
I might have guessed so.
Can I help you?
I received this notice of assessment in the mail yesterday. And, you know, you've got some nerve.
Here we go again. First place, calm down and stop yelling. You don't have to be so aggravated.
Who's aggravated and who's yelling?
Oh, excuse me, force of habit. What seems to be the problem?
You sent me this notice of reassessment, and I'm very disturbed over it.
Look, sir, I am obligated by law to render a fair assessment of your house.
Look, I don't want any of your political mumbo-jumbo, okay? Obligated by law, my foot. I want justice.
We have a grievance day, so you can come back and complain then.
Well, since I'm here, why can't I complain now?
Because that's how it's done. You can only complain on grievance day.
Why only on grievance day?
I don't know why only on grievance day, but that's the way it's always been done. You can only complain on grievance day. That's the law.
Well, who made the law?
I don't know who made the law. I only work here, and it says we can only hear grievances on grievance day. So, if you want your assessment lowered, you'll have to come back on grievance day. You will need photos of your property and comparison photos of any additional properties, a professional appraisal, a notice of grievance signed and notarized by a Supreme Court judge from the Appellate Division. You have 1 day to appeal at the assessor's office between the hours of 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the appointed day. Then I can listen.
And what day would that be?
I don't know. We haven't appointed a day yet.
But I don't want my assessment lowered. I want it raised.
What? You want it raised?
That's what I said. I want my assessment raised.
But why?
Because I feel it's too low.
Well, but we don't have... I mean, it's never been done.
Well, what's the problem?
We don't have a procedure for raising the assessment at a taxpayer's request. Miss Uppish?
Can you come in here for a moment?
Do we have a procedure for raising an assessment at a taxpayer's request? I don't know of any form.
Not that I'm aware of. We usually raise the assessments whenever we please.
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, sir. There's no way we can help you.
What do you mean, no way you can help me? Look, I want my assessment raised, and I'm going to get it raised.
There's no procedure to raise it at your request. Look, if you have a grievance, you can only complain on
grievance day, I know all about that. We've already been through that. Look, it's my constitutional right to have my taxes raised. I demand to have them raised.
I don't think the Founding Fathers intended that when they wrote the Constitution. I've never read that part, and I've read the entire Constitution.
You read the entire Constitution.
And memorized it.
That surprises me. Where'd you find the time between your nails and
I
your
think
hair?
I'll take care of this. Thank you, Miss Uppish. You can go back to your desk. I'm sure you're very busy and have more important work to get done.
You can say that again. I haven't even started on my nails yet.
Yes, well, it pays to have relatives in high places. Look, I'm going to make an exception and I'll listen to your case and take it under advisement. Now, why do you want your assessment raised?
Because you have my house assessed for a lesser amount than my neighbor's?
And you find that a problem?
Yes. I will not live in a house that is assessed for less money. My house is bigger and better than my neighbor's. I will not live next to a house that is assessed for more money than mine.
Do you have any photos?
Sure, I've got photos. Here, look.
I see you came prepared. You have a picture of your house and your neighbor's?
Look at my house. It's much bigger.
Well, from the picture, it seems that your neighbor's house is bigger.
Yes, well, my house has full finished basement, plus there's an additional 4 bedrooms in the attic that doesn't show in the picture. His house is only on 1 floor.
I must admit your house is much more attractive.
Yeah, damn right it is.
How many baths?
That's another thing. My house has 4 fully tiled baths. His house has only 2, and the tile work isn't the greatest. Here, look at mine.
Yes, very nice. Well done. Exquisite workmanship.
It cost me enough. There's more.
Oh, please, let me see.
Look at that deck. Solid redwood. His deck is only painted redwood.
I must say, I'm impressed. I've never seen such beautiful woodwork.
Here, look at my swimming pool. And look at his.
Oh, which one is yours?
The bigger one, of course.
This one.
No, his only looks bigger. Mine is twice the size of his, and mine is made with marble tile. His is made with a plastic liner.
Well, I think I've seen enough. You know, most people come in here downsizing everything in order to get a lower assessment. I must admit, you are amazing.
Yes, well,
But I don't know if I can raise your assessment at your request. I have to follow protocol.
look, I've lived in this town for 20 years and I'm a voter. And I will not stand here and be told that I cannot have my assessment raised, or that I have to live next to a house that is assessed for more money than mine, to which I've just proved it's a smaller house.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll take the information, write it down, although it is against protocol, and see what I can do. Okay. The name of the owner.
Who?
The name of the people that live in the house.
Who?
Your name.
Who?
The name the house is assessed under.
Who?
So what is the name of the people?
No, what lives next door? Who lives in the house?
I don't know who lives in the house. That's what I'm trying to find out. Now, who lives in the house?
Yes.
Yes, what?
No, I told you, what lives next door? Who lives in the house?
I don't know who lives in the house. How did we get next door? I'm not the one making the grievance. Now look, who is the name of the person on the deed?
That's right.
What's right?
Who is the name of the person on the deed?
If I knew the name, I wouldn't be asking you. You have to tell me who lives in the house.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I told you, what lives next door?
Here we go again with next door. Look, let me make this simple. So what is your name?
No, what lives next door?
Then who are you?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yes.
Who?
Look, do you know your name?
Yes.
Then give me it.
Who?
You.
I'm who?
Yes, who are you?
Yes.
Guess what?
I'm who?
Let's start over. Give me your first name.
Thomas.
Okay, Thomas. Now we know your first name, so what is your second name?
No, what lives next door?
I don't care about next door. I need your last name.
Who?
You.
I keep telling you who.
Listen, if I mailed a letter to your house, who would I address it to?
Yes.
Yes, what?
I told you, what lives
I know he lives next door. You know, we're not getting anywhere. I have an idea.
That's a milestone.
You said your first name is Thomas. Now, spell your last name.
W-H-O-O.
Who?
That's me, Thomas Who, with 2 O's.
Who? That's your name, Thomas Who? And your neighbor's name is...
What?
I said, and your neighbor's name is... No. Let's not get started there again.
It's very simple if you would only listen to what I was telling you. My name is Who, and my neighbor, who I am comparing my assessment to, is what? So what? He lives next door.
His name is what? And your name is who?
Now you've got it. His name is So, S with 2 O's, and What with 2 T's, and my name is Who with 2 O's. Simple, isn't it?
Here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Who. I'll look up your file and see what I can do. As I said, there is no procedure for this, but as an assessor, I can make up the rules as I go along.
That's all I came here for, fair treatment. I suppose you'll notify me of your decision?
You'll all get a letter.
Well, then thank you. Good day.
Just a moment.
Yes?
May I ask, why did you come here looking to raise your assessment? That's not normal.
To be honest, it was starting to bother me. You see, I received a small increase in my income this year, and after income taxes, federal, state, and local, and plus Social Security taxes, and property taxes, and school taxes, and sales taxes, and various surcharge taxes, I started having money left over at the end of the month. I could actually spend money on food, and I was able to start saving money. And then I thought to myself, something's wrong. I shouldn't have money left over to feed my family. And then I figured it out. I wasn't being assessed enough. So I came in here to get it off my chest, and now I feel better. No one will ever be able to accuse me of not paying my fair share. After all, after 3 meals and a roof over one's head, everything else is just rational exuberance. Not to mention that I'm sure the town needs the money much more than I do.
Well, that's true. Someone has to carry the burden of government and school spending. And what bothers me is that you actually had money left over at the end of the month?
Yes?
Well, don't worry. You can rest assured I'll see that it never happens again.
That's what I figured. Thank you. Good day.
Good afternoon, Assessor's Office. Oh, let me see if he's in. I'm going to put you on hold. Oh, oops. Oh well, he'll call back.
Thank you, Abbott and Costello, for Who's On First. I don't know. He's on third. Let's not get started there. Next, we have two monologues from Dialogues of the Dead, written by Lucian and adapted by Baudelaire Jones. Lucian lived around 120 to 190 AD and was a satirist from Samosa. He is known for the lively, cynical wit of the humorous dialogues in which he satirizes human folly, superstition, and hypocrisy. His aim was to amuse, not to instruct. Among his works are A True Story, Dialogues of the Gods, and Dialogues of the Dead. In this modern adaptation of Dialogues of the Dead, Baudelaire Jones remains true to the original spirit of Lucian's dialogues, if not the details. Most of the antiquated cultural references have been updated to modern equivalents so that the average person can more easily understand. In the first monologue, Mr. Bass is talking to a Mr. Bean about the golden years. In the second monologue, Lord Dinwitty is talking to Lord Marlborough about a plan all gone wrong.
You missed out, Mr. Bean. The golden years were really something. I could do what I liked. There was still plenty of beautiful women and fine bottles of wine to enjoy. I became known for my extravagant parties. Oh, I never paid a penny out of my own pocket. All of these things were gifts, you see, from my many admirers. Only the cream of the crop was allowed in my presence. The best society had to offer, the brightest and most beautiful. Young gods and goddesses, all eager to please. They had eyes only for me. I was just as you see me now, old, bald, bleary-eyed, arthritic, and the object of all desire. I had to beat them off with a stick. I should have thought you knew the violent passion for old men who have plenty of money and no children. Oh, but I assure you, Mr. Bean, I nevertheless took a great deal of satisfaction in my young lovers. They idolized me, showered me with gifts through parties. I had an almost godlike power over them. They couldn't refuse me anything, a discovery that came in particularly handy with the ladies. Sometimes I would play games, cut some of them off. Such rivalries you wouldn't believe, such jealous competition. I promised to make each of them my sole heir, and they believed me, every one of them. Little piggies. If they'd ever had an honest conversation with each other, they would have figured it out. But they didn't. They just pranced around, secretly laughing at the others, secure in the knowledge that they would win out in the end. Of course, my actual will told them all to go hang. The actual beneficiary was my maid, a beautiful girl, about 20. I'm sure you can guess her job description. Well, I'll say this. She deserved the money more than they did. Of course, she didn't love me either, but she was honest about the whole thing. Well, she didn't put on airs like the rest of them. And they all treated her like dirt. Now they can kiss her derriere.
You remember Lord Carlsbad? Lonely old bugger, lots of money, no children. Well, I'd spoken kindly to him on occasion. Even took him out to dinner once or twice. And he was so grateful that one day, quite out of the blue, he promised to make me his sole heir. His sole heir is worth millions, you understand? I couldn't believe my luck. I hadn't asked for it, never thought of it really. But from that day forward, in order to show my appreciation, I began to spend practically every waking moment in his company. I would drop by first thing in the morning. We'd play checkers, shuffleboard. At first, it wasn't so bad. Not terribly exciting, but I'd just think of the money, and that would keep me going. After a few weeks, though, I began to run out of steam. He liked to tell war stories. Never actually fought in a war, mind you. Spent most of the war typing in some office in Liverpool. Now try to imagine, if you will, war stories that involve typing. An occasional flirtation with a grumpy secretary, or a heated debate over the proper use of the semicolon. It was interminable. I knew I couldn't keep it up much longer. But still, the inheritance. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I had already spent most of it in my head. I began thinking up ways to hurry him along, if you know what I mean. Little things at first. I convinced him to take up cricket. I thought the exertion might be too much for his heart. But it only made him healthier, and suddenly he looked 10 years younger. I took him boating. I thought he might fall in and drown. I even went so far as to rock the boat a little. But the old bugger had impeccable balance. And worse luck, he always wore a life jacket. I began to get desperate. Finally, I decided to approach the butler. Now, he was an unhappy little man, bitter that he himself had been overlooked for the inheritance. Together, we concocted a plan. Are you familiar with ricin? It's a powerful poison, extracted from castor beans of all things, twice as deadly as cobra venom. The butler agreed to administer the poison the next time his master called for wine, which he did constantly. He was a drunken sot. And in return, I promised to reward the poor fellow for all his years of loyal service, something his master had never done. The next evening, after our usual activities, the servant brought in 2 cups, the poisoned one for Carlsbad, the other for me. Unfortunately, the incompetent oaf got nervous, switched the cups somehow, gave me the poisoned one. And in a few minutes, much to my surprise, there I was, dead, on the floor, and cheated out of my inheritance. Oh, I suppose you think it's funny. And so did the old man. After he got over the initial shock, he put it all together, I guess, and laughed hysterically at his butler's mistake. Lesson learned the hard way by Lord Dinwitty. If you want something done right, do it yourself. Good night. Thank you.